Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, go ahead, Nutana.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Very good evening to all the participants here. I extend a warm welcome to you all to this short-term course on Art and Science of Scientific Communication organized by our college, Padma Shri Institute of Management and Sciences, Bengaluru. We all are aware that it is important to effectively communicate our research findings in the form of papers, project proposals, thesis in order to succeed in our respective field. And the purpose of this short-term course is to enhance our understanding about the research communication. It's my pleasant duty to introduce the resource person for today's first session, our dear principal, Dr. M. Anuradha. Ma'am started her career after the completion of her PhD as a scientist and lab in charge in Dr. Reddy's laboratories. She worked as a senior scientist and head in Sami Labs, Bengaluru. She also started her own company, Rishi Herbal Technologies Private Limited. She joined Padma Shri as principal in the year 2004. She's also the director of PIMS Research Center and Biotech Finishing School from 2011 to till date. She has the academic and research experience in nutraceuticals, medicinal plants, research, and plant biotechnology. She worked with national and international agencies for developing novel nutraceutical products for human and veterinary use. She has presented various research papers at international, national, state level seminars, conferences, and workshops. And also, Madam has been a resource person in many national seminars. She has filed patents for many of her research. One among them is US patent. She has completed many projects and ongoing projects are funded by DST, KBITS, GOK, etc. She has published many of her research papers in reputed journals. Now, I request Dr. Anuradha Madam to kindly present her talk on importance of scientific communication and ethics. Over to you, ma'am.
Good evening, dear participants. It is indeed my pleasure. I thank Nutana for giving me such a nice, crisp introduction. And it is aptly suited for our topic, that is scientific communication. Communication is so important, and it is today the order of the day. Now, we are going to let us know a bit about scientific communication, which is going to be a powerful mantra in this scenario of industrial revolution and in this scenario of this millennial children, where communication has become a powerful weapon. And we are going to connect this thing to our scientific communication. Most of the students who have joined, participants who have joined, are postgraduates who are there both in first year and second year. Apart from that, there are many other invited participants. I just want to brief you within a minute that what you are going to learn in this 10-day long sessions. And in these 10-day long sessions, we are going to talk about scientific communication, and we are going to teach you how to write a paper, publish a paper, write a book, and the importance of it, and various tools and techniques which are required for paper publication, book publication, and patent filing too, if our time permits. Now, let me start with the putting a ground, a foundation for all the speakers who are going to be. Everyone is a very reputed person with many of them have got hundreds of papers published, and definitely they are going to teach you the importance and how to do it and various types, everything. Scientific communication, a powerful mantra. For what? This mantra is for everything. For having a healthy life, for having a healthy nature, for having a healthy society and for having holistic development in the country. Science is not finished unless it is communicated. What we are going to study today, what we are going to learn today. Today we are going to know what exactly is communication and understanding the science communication and benefits of science communication and who should communicate the science. Is it only scientists who study science they should do it, or it is birthright of everybody who knows it in a proper way? Let us know about this and what are the various challenges and opportunities in this science communication. My talk is going to be just half an hour, and later we are going to have another speaker, Dr. Sushil Kumar Midha, who is going to give you basics of scientific communication and reports. See, in the first slide, what I'm showing here, the science communication is simple but also very complicated. Generally, when we talk about something like that, scientists are talking about orange apples, public will be understanding as they are oranges. When we start describing apples, they might be imagining like oranges. The effective way of communicating science, when you describe apple, they also should think that it is an apple. For that, you really need art, and also there is a science in that. That is why we named this entire session as Art and Science of Scientific Communication. Nothing in science has any value to the society if it is not communicated. Science communication is the need of the hour. How it is the need of the hour? Scientific knowledge or information should be shared. I will take the example of currently we are running with a world's worst period, that is COVID-19, and we are hoping that we are going to get an end to the pandemic. Whenever there is going to be a vaccine required during the plague or during rubella, during the periods of Spanish flu, or during many other times, it used to take 10 years to develop an vaccine. Because of this powerful communication system, within a month, they identified that this is a new virus, and within 2 months, the complete genome sequence of COVID-19 pandemic is available on the net. And within 3-4 months, IIT Kharagpur and many other places, they started publishing so much of information. That is why we could able to get this vaccination in the record time. It is in the record time. Within 1.5 years, vaccination is available to the public. That is because of the powerful weapon that is communication. And there is no barrier. Scientists working in the other side of the globe could able to communicate with the scientists working this side. And it has been so well communicated. And finally, we could able to successfully, and we have given a very, very tough fight. I really need to appreciate the entire scientific community. When we thought this coronavirus is going to hit us, because it has not started in the initial days, when it is started in the September, November, October, November in other countries, by the time we got it is almost like March, April. So that much of time we had, we have utilized that time properly, and we started preparing ourselves. How it has happened? Because of the communication. This needs coordination between government, society, industry sector, scientists, researchers, and media. Again, I will take you the same example, COVID-19 example. It is so very well communicated. I want to share one of my experience. I was traveling from going to Anantapur to give a talk, deliver a talk on Women's Day, International Women's Day in March. On that day, it was a Saturday. When I was traveling, morning, I picked up the phone to call somebody. Immediately, there was a message on the telephone that if you have any cough or cold, immediately you need to report. You have to be careful. You have to be with mask. This has been communicated, such a powerful communication system that is telecommunication. This has happened how? It has been in coordination between government, society, and a telecommunication company, and industry sector, scientists, researchers, everyone, media, everyone. That powerful it is. There is no substitute for science communication to the public and policymakers. Communicating is a social responsibility, and it is our bountiful duty. Most of you might be thinking that this is not in the syllabus. I may not get it for the examination. I will take it very lightly. No, every day what you are doing is you are communicating. You are writing your examination, that is science communication. You are giving your seminar, that is science communication. You are attending a quiz program, that is science communication. You are presenting a poster, that is science communication. You are writing a paper, publishing a paper, that is science communication. You are filing a patent, that is science communication. To be successful, you must be a good communicator.
उन्हें पीछे आता है
You must be a very good communicator. I'll just come within a second. Please be with me. See, to be successful, you must be a very good communicator. Now, let us know what a communication means. In Latin, communis means to share or to make common. That means you have to share whatever you know. You have to share the truth. Don't spread false information, and that is very, very bad. That is the worst part of communication. The act of transmitting information for shared understanding is called as communication. This is the practice of disseminating information. It involves verbal, non-verbal, print, and electronic means. Communication is a science as well as an art. It has been rightly said. What does speaking precisely mean? You are consciously communicating with another person at that person's frequency, not yours. When you are communicating, that's why I again took the example of COVID-19. It is being communicated in all the languages with the frequency of a common most man. Now everybody has got a smartphone. As soon as they pick up the phone, immediately they started getting messages that now also when you pick up your phone, if you want to dial, if you dial somebody before they pick up the phone, you get an information stating that we have achieved this many numbers of vaccination. So they are communicating the importance of vaccination to the common man in their own language. It started coming in the local language, in the regional language. That's how it should be communicated with opposite person's frequency and not yours. When you are writing a journal paper publication, you have to communicate in the frequency of the journal. What they expect in the same language, you have to use the same communication skills. Now, coming to science communication, the science communication deals with issues related to science and technology, which is informing to the public, makes scientific expertise publicly available. Science communication does make the scientific expertise publicly available, informs the societal perceptions and expectations of public, and it impacts policy making. What do you mean by policy making? When you are talking about, I will again take the example of COVID-19. You have regulations which have been released by ICMR. As soon as this COVID-19 is stuck, everyone started worried about what are the medications to be used and how to be used, and whether they are clinical trials have been done or not, whether you can use this particular medication or not. These were the problems which are lingering even in the most educated society like scientists and doctors. In such a scenario, what happened? They started working out across. They started with drugs which are already approved. For example, initially they said hydroxychloroquine is working out very well. Ivermectin is working out very well. And these medications, they don't need clinical trials because they already passed the clinical trials. Whether they are effective against COVID-19, no one knows, but they don't cause, not many side effects are there, and they can be safely used. That is why they tried. They tried already approved drugs. How it happened? It is because of the communication available. It is because of publications available, because it is already been well documented. That is the policy they made. There are many policies. You have one policy which is called as Disaster Management Act. Under this act, they created many guidelines and policies have come. You cannot say that I don't want to wear a mask. You cannot say that because it has been made into a policy. How it has been made, and it has been communicated by scientists so well that if you wear mask, if you close the openings and don't close the doors for the virus, it cannot enter into your respiratory system so that you can be protected. And this science communication will allow us to do risk assessment of findings and inventions. When you communicate it, if somebody says that Omicron is having 30 mutations, what is the risk of getting it? What is the risk of when these mutations happen? What will happen? This is being compilation of the data and communicated by scientists across the globe at various places. And risk assessment has been made by this. And it plays a major role in the governance of science and technology. When you are having this science communication, proper communication, it is having a major role, and it is key for growth and development. Most of the fundamental ideas of science are essentially simple and may, as a rule, be expressed in a language comprehensible to everyone. When I'm talking this, even a person who is not with scientific background should be able to understand, but which is a truthful information I'm communicating through this webinar. Have you seen the above cartoon? Can I tell you about science? She's telling okay, but she's stopping because as soon as you start talking science, people will immediately think that it is very complicated. It is very complicated. It is not so. If it has been simply explained, it is not very complicated. I will tell you one simple example here. When Newton has seen the apple falling from the tree to the ground, many of us have seen, many of our ancestors have still seen, because before Newton observed that, before that also apple was falling onto the ground. But he is the one who could able to communicate in an understanding way. And that's how the theory of gravitational force has come into picture, which is the basis for many, many, many inventions. My dear students, I think now you've got some fairly good idea about importance of science communication. What are the benefits of it? Society and public without scientific background can get knowledge and helps to take informed decision, right? It is being completely told to the people, and you can get you can take informed decisions, right? Our good age-old scriptures, Ayurveda and other scriptures, other traditional medicine scriptures have very clearly mentioned that turmeric has got antiseptic properties. It has been communicated so well. So today also we are using that. So you get knowledge and you can take informed decisions. Without blindly, you need not take any decision. You can take an informed decision. It contributes to the well-being and economic development of the people. It definitely contributes not only for your well-being, and economical growth will also be very good because of this scientific communication. And it generates new research questions, isn't it? It definitely generates many, many research questions. When they said that as soon as Omicron 30 mutations are being announced by South Africa, so many research questions popped up. Is it similar to what are these mutations? These mutations are allowing the virus to multiply and replicate in your upper respiratory tract. It is not getting into the inside lungs, deep inside the lungs. That made scientists to think about what we can give it for the upper respiratory tract infections to get rid of this Omicron. And it triggered thought processes. Because of this scientific communication, it triggered thought processes. And finally, necessity is the mother of invention. And I can say that definitely, when necessity is the mother of invention, proper communication is father of invention. It can really, really, really improve the existing invention and come out with so many new processes and products. Science may never come up with better office communication system than the coffee break. It was Earl Wilson told about this. How it will benefit scientific community. I told how it benefits normal person, a public, and necessarily we should know how it is going to benefit the scientific community, scientists, researchers, and students who are pursuing their education in science. It creates a public awareness that builds trust on research findings, right? It can create real scientific awareness which can build trust on the research findings. Today we are going and taking the vaccination because of what? It created the awareness because they have given the proper scientific evidence, communicated it in all the journals and other media. It can help improving existing processes and products. Scientists can really improve the existing processes and products if it is published properly. Connect various sectors of people. Yes or no? It has connected. Once it has been announced, a person who is doing textiles and who is having a garment person immediately started preparing masks, creating various types and kinds of masks. A person who is there in sanitizer business, immediately he went to next level of preparing the sanitizer. And small household fumigators have come into picture. There are many other antiseptics and antibiotics and soaps. What else? What not? It is one way. It was a challenge, and this challenge has been taken into an opportunity by the entire different sectors. It may be a food sector, it may be a herbal sector, it may be a pharma sector, it may be a garment sector, it may be a travel sector. Every sector has identified. Even the sector which is a Swiggy and other things, they have identified their own means. They started telling that pizza will be delivered without any touch. We are not touching it. Everything is being mechanized. That kind of a novelty and existing processes and products taken a giant leap, and everything has changed. And it connected all sectors. CSR funding. As soon as this COVID-19 pandemic is being announced as a pandemic, immediately CSR, corporate funds, and government agencies have started advertising. DST has started advertising. If you can work in COVID aftermath effects or anything, you can get funding. That's how do you take the funding? You search the literature. Okay, these people have done this much. I will do this. If I can extend this, I can find out a new method of identifying the test procedure. Earlier it used to take 24 hours. Now it is just a rapid at home. You can do the test. How it happened? It happened because of the funding of the CSR, corporates and industry and government. Many people funded, including defense. Many people funded. And the entire globe started working on a unified solution of existing problem. Because of this, communication was very good. Now let us see what is the difference between science communicator and scientist communicator. We have started 8 minutes late. Now it is 5:28. I will take another 10 minutes and wind it off. What is the difference between a science communicator and scientist communicator? Science communicator is a translator. It is scientific journalism. He is a media person and with an ability and art of storytelling, whom he will translate from whatever scientist has told, he will translate into a much simpler language with all the authenticity. That's what you see in newspapers. As soon as you get some information, people will start translating and it will come in all the newspapers. He has a major media and it can reach wide range of audience. Whereas a scientist as a communicator, he is the first-hand originator of the scientific information. He will give his supporting documents, data, statistical analysis, reports, and everything he will add and he will communicate to a scientific journal. A person who knows science only can understand, but he wishes to communicate the research findings to public, then he can write an article, scientific article in newspapers or other magazines. He is the one who has got in-depth knowledge of his domain. He is the one who created this information and he is the one who is communicating. Whereas science communicator need not be a scientist. He can take the information and he can convert the information and put it in the form of a story, and it can reach the public. Ways of science communication, all of you know that it is print media, mass media, social media, and electronic media. And there are popular information resources like documentaries, TED Talks, open debates, interviews, and scientific information sources like journals, magazines, books, symposia, conference, and summits. Of all of our inventions for mass communication, pictures still speak the most universally understood language. That is why, my dear participants, we are conducting a competition for the poster competition that will be announced by either Dr. Indu or Nutana Grace at the end or tomorrow, where we are conducting a pictorial representation of COVID-19, how you can communicate to the people, maybe about the vaccination. That's what we are intending to do in this particular sessions. Anything will have a challenge. This also has got challenge, and these challenges, there are many challenges. We generally use the challenges are because of diversity of audience, because audience are not on the same page. You have scientists, funding organizations, businessmen, politicians, journalists, NGOs. All these people are different audience on different levels and different phases. That is why it is very difficult to communicate equally to everyone. That is a challenge. And diversity of reasons for communicating, because when we are communicating, now today we are communicating for education. It is not for entertainment. And we are communicating for creating awareness among the students. We are communicating for a social cause. And sometimes communication being utilized for lobbying, communication is being utilized for marketing, communication is being utilized for entertainment. When you are doing for various things, it is very difficult. This diversity will not allow you to think in a normal way. Definitely, you need to know the art. You need to know the science too while communicating for diverse reasons. Diversity of voices to communicate. You have different modes. Diversity of scientist voice is different, a journalist voice is different, and a funding agency voice is different, and everything will have different voice to communicate. And different diversity of intermediaries. Who are all the intermediaries? I'm an intermediary. I'm trying to communicate as a teacher. And you have journalists who will communicate. Each thinking perspective, each analyzing perspective will be different. That is why it is also a challenge to make it in a proper way, and need to choose the most appropriate means of communication. For everything, every communication will not help. For example, you have a scientific finding, then you have to publish in a scientific journal. You have a general knowledge about certain thing. You want to communicate. You want to reach people with a small piece of information. Maybe you have to pick up social media. That is why you have to choose the most appropriate means of communication for doing it in a proper way. Words should be used as tools of communication and not as substitute for action. You need to use it as a tool, but you cannot definitely, you say that take vaccinations, and in action, there are no vaccinations available. So you have to use these words as a tool, but action should be there for everything. We say that you should maintain cleanliness, hygiene, swachhata, and you make a lot of documentaries, videos, and then when there is no action, there is no point in that. So words, you should have the communication to reach people, and that communication should make them to turn these words into action. And what are the other challenges? Scientific journals isolate scientists from public. Yes, as they are highly technical, when we are publishing it, these journals are isolating the scientists from the general public. Risk of momentary response in internet in blogs. When a scientist gives something, somebody momentarily responds, and they may give some kind of a thing. Oh, somewhere somebody has got some problem when they have taken genetically modified food, and these companies are doing this, and because that is why widespread negative impact will be there when there is a momentary response. Negative communication will move very fast. than positive communication. There is a communication gap between scientists and public administrators, journalists, and there is a huge gap. All of us are working in isolation. So you need to work in together. And there are political and religious restrictions. Sometimes something will be suddenly politicized, and sometimes you have religious restrictions too on scientific communication. It may not be visible, but invisible restrictions will be there. Regional and geographical and language barriers are there for scientific communication. You should be able to take over all these things. What is needed? Scientific communities need to become more engaged. In science communication, you should become a more engaged. For every challenge, there is a solution and it can be turned into opportunity. Communicate to reach public, politicians, policymakers, businessmen, and make their findings more freely available. Generally, what will happen? You need some information. At that time, you just Google it, then you will get a PDF. If you want to download it, it says that you have to pay $2, $30, $40. So when it is an important information, that is why they say that all patents are publicly available. You can see every patent, every detail of it, it is available. You have to just search. So you have to make it freely available when the information belongs for the public utility. If it is not for a business purpose, it needs to be made publicly, more freely available in the internet and many other places. Everyone need appropriate training for doing the scientific communication. Journalists need to understand how the scientific knowledge is generated, its implications and its limitations. Many of them are really good, but some of them may need to, you have to communicate to the journalists in a proper way so that they can understand the scientific knowledge and translate to the public language. Scientists should be more aware of possibilities and limitations of media while communicating with two different audiences. Opportunities are define and create awareness about the role of science in society, enable society to make the best use of scientific knowledge, create innovators and need-based innovators. And before I say thank you, I want to tell you one small story, and then I will hand over to people. When in India, when we are working, the communication system was so good in India. You know, all our earlier musicians like Purandaradasa, Kanakadasa, all these people have documented. They have documented with great difficulty because we don't have paper at that time. We don't have this digital media at that time, but they have documented. For everything, we had such a good documentation. In scientific communication was so good in India, and many times it was oral communication, generation to generation. Like father will teach to son, son will teach to his son, and from ancestors, all our Vedas are being orally remembered, and it is being transferred to one generation to other generation. That's what we are having today. And whether you know or not, if you have any other translations which you need to do, National Medicinal Plants Board and Ayush, the Department of Ministry of Ayush is funding if you want to translate local scientific communications into English or any other language. It is that even into Hindi, they are funding it. If you know, if you have it, you can just browse through the web and you can get it. And our Nalanda and Takshashila, we lost the such a wonderful libraries, and it is being done by, with the jealous, which is the one where we are going to talk about ethics. You need to have ethics. You cannot be jealous about somebody's scientific communication, and you cannot steal somebody's innovations and publish it. That you should not be doing it. We are going to have a separate session on that, and I will talk about more about things about that. How it has been burnt, our Nalanda Vishwavidyalaya library. When one king was suffering with some unknown disease, he could not able to get cured. At that time, it has been cured by some our people. Then he asked how come they could able to cure it. Then somebody told that they are from this Nalanda Vishwavidyalaya. They have wonderful information in their libraries. With jealous, that library has been burnt. When it has been burnt, it burned for 3 months. day and night continuously. We lost such a good information, tremendous loss we had, but still our ancestors had got lot of knowledge and visibility, vision, and they have stored many things. That is why oral communication, the communication which you are having in your mind and the information which you are storing it cannot be stolen by anybody else. With this, I thank you, all of you, for having patient listening for 40 minutes, which is 35 minutes or so, which is not that easy at the end of the day. But I hope these sessions, which we are going to do for 10 days, is going to help you a lot. And I hope by the end of the time, all of us will become very responsible scientific commuters, and we will become science reach masses through this science communication. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am, for delivering a powerful talk.
Thank you, Nutana.
Yes, ma'am. Dear students, the session is open for questions. So if you have any doubts, you can just ask.
Okay, if there are no questions, you can move on to the second session.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Sushil joined?
Yes, ma'am. Sir has joined.
Hello, Dr. Sushil.
Hi, ma'am. How are you, ma'am? Good evening.
Doing good, Sushil.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, please go ahead, Sushil. I definitely wish our participants can get a lot of information from you, and
Thank
which has
you.
been proven information and about scientific communication.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah.
I will start it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
One minute, sir. Let me give a small introduction about you, sir.
Please.
Yeah. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce the resource person for today's second session, Dr. Sushil Kumar Midda. Presently, he is an associate professor in the Department of Biotechnology at Maharani Lakshmi Ammani College for Women. He's a review editor for a board of developmental physiology. He has also been associate editor for pharmacognosy research and editor for International Journal of Fundamental and Applied Sciences. His ongoing projects are funded by BICEP and DST. He has published many research papers, book chapters. Now I request Dr. Sushil Kumar Midda to kindly present his talk on knowing various types of research reports. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Nutana. That's nice, wonderful introduction. So I'll be starting with the guidelines for reporting scientific studies. So whatever we are going to learn today, why we need them and what is the scientific communication, why we work out on reports, what is the reason we need it. I'm very much fortunate to hear Dr. Anuradha ma'am. She was really superb. Like I heard her before also, but today it was fantastic. So she made my life little easy. So now I'm going to continue where she stopped. So in this talk, majorly we are going to learn about what is the report styles and why we need that report. Okay. And in clinical research, in clinical industries or medical industries, what kind of reports are there? What are the scientific reports are there? Usually students hear about talk about report. We have this standard pattern. So I just wanted to make it little more communicative way, more informative way to tell you about there are several kinds of reports existing in the. So I'm going to give you a little information on them also. So let's start. I know you all are at nascent level, at starting level. So let's start with first learn on the basics. Then we will slowly in my second and third talk, we will start communicating about other things and we start understanding the upper layer of other scientific studies or scientific communications. So why do you need a scientific format? I usually, when I was a student, I usually used to think, why this, we have to make this format? What is the uh, why people want it in specific format itself? Why not to put it as my words, whatever I want it, I am putting it in my words itself. But then also a standard format every time. And then if you follow the journals, referencing patterns always matters differently. Why people want it that much attention to do referencing pattern, atoll pattern, or dot pattern, or 1 2 3 numbering pattern? Why it is? The very simple reason is we wanted to make it as a layman language. It's a report style. We want to make it as a scientific language, it becomes scientist style. So there are it's like very big confusion happens whenever when you start your scientific writer things, and because there are no right structures properly. And everywhere, if you go in the humanities, if you go into the science, if you go into the commerce, everyone follows their own pattern. So if we want to bring down this format, that format, whatever formats are there, into a specific format, so what will happen? It means us a lot. How it does it mean? It means us a lot of efficiently communicating scientific finding to the broader communities. Now, broader community means what? I want to speak to, when I am writing something as a scientist, what I want to speak to a science person. I want to speak into a uniform manner, what people speak about it. See, when I am writing a small paragraph in a newspaper, so what happens? That it's like for it becomes a layman language. So we need to make everyone understand who does not know science, who does not know anything. So for example, ma'am just gave you one a small example of COVID. It beautifully recommended and said a telecommunication happened. So, and how do you know about the COVID? This is the symptoms of COVID. This is symptoms of cold. How does the problems are happening? And what people are following it. This all matters a lot in different way. So whenever I am communicating to a science person, I am communicating into a standard and uniform manner. That's the reason a scientific format has been made. Okay, it's nothing. It's similar. It's like you are filling a college form. You want to take admission in some college and some university, some places. UGC, a general body, a main body who takes care of all of them. They made one specific format of it. As example, your name will be asked, your father name is asked, your date of birth is asked, then your general castes are asked, your general SC or OBC, whatever, this all asked. Then there would be your how much your father income is asked. Why does show? Because there would be lot of scholarships available. There are a lot of fundamentally rights available for general people. CV Raman technique, CV Raman fellowship is there. As example, for if you go with the other person, for SCST, if you go, there are Rajiv Gandhi fellowship is available. Then you want, there are other lot of other kinds are also there. UGC meritorious fellowship, single girl child fellowship. So these all, that's the reason a uniform pattern has been made. So here we are speaking about the scientific format. So scientific format means scientific finding to the broad community of scientists in a uniform manner. So you can understand why a scientific format, what is the need of it, why we are so keen on that. As example, there are titles given. You always search with some or the other keywords. You started searching on diabetes. So then you wanted to search a title that you wanted to know about a subject. You want to know about diabetes. So you got a title, anti-diabetic properties of ABCD. So you understood, or anti-diabetic properties of pomegranate, anti-diabetic properties of traganola, and or anti-inflammatory activities of something. So as example, you are thinking about to search. So titles matters a lot. So someone wants to search with a title. Then Other may be liking, they want to read your titles and abstracts. After reading the abstracts and titles, they understand, yeah, this report or this paper or this manuscript is useful for me. Now, someone wants to go deeper. So, so they want to go deeper, may look into your tables, figures, results. Then after that, if you are pumping very good interest in them, if you are pushing them for some interest, so what will happen? Then a person reads your whole paper. Then maybe they will use your methodology to work out on their research. So they want to work on their research using your research. So scientific formats are very much needed. So I will just tell you how reporting of scientific studies, how does that matter, how it's happening. So reporting of scientific studies, usually it says your accurate reporting of scientific studies is most important. Okay. So what do you mean by that? So it's like researchers use the studies as a base of their own research. So they always follow their own research. They always follow their own research. Researchers uses studies as a base for their own research. Please remember this. Clinicians use them to plan the right treatment for the patient. As example, ma'am has given you very good example of COVID. So what happened? Lancet started publishing a lot of paper. Nature started publishing a lot of paper. There are a lot of papers are here and there. So there are a lot of things happening. So with that, what is happening? A scientist, a clinician who were treating the patients on COVID, they started taking interest. They started reading on that research. They started giving you some or the other drug. So clinicians use them to plan the right treatment. So you can understand. How do you get to know about HCQ? How you got to know malarial drug can be used for COVID treatment? How you got to know some of the other drugs? This all. You should do some gargles. You should use this gargle with the betadine. So whatever things are happening, so these are clinicians use them for the right treatment for the patients. So what government health agencies does? So government health agencies makes policy on them. They impactful the preventive and treatment strategy they design. So what do you mean by that design? Design means, as example, if you can understand there would be a chloroquine rate has been increased tremendously. So government made a policy to keep that rate intact, whatever poor people or normal people can manage with. Okay, a general middle class can manage with the oxygen cylinders and all the things. So they start preparing the policy that impactful preventive and treatment strategies happen. Thus, so if you do not report the results accurately in the scientific publication, they won't provide any value and all your hard work goes in vain. So you can understand. So you can understand with this all. So if this all things are needed, these all things are needed whenever you go with the scientific work. So meaningful effects, ethically, you should be strong enough when you're reporting. If you get a negative result, does not mean you cannot report them. Please report. It will be an answer for future generation. Please don't go this way. Use other way. So this is the way a scientific report should be reported. Okay. So next, we'll go for the types of the reporting. So several guidelines are introduced to ensure the results are reported in accurate manner. So we were going to discuss few guidelines that are commonly used for reporting various type of scientific studies. So first comes PRISMA, PRISMA. So PRISMA is what it's called: preferred reporting items for scientific review and meta-analysis. Scientific analysis and preferred reporting item for systematic reviews and meta-analysis. This is a guideline for proper reporting of systematic reviews and meta-analysis. Please understand this reporting system. If you go to any clinical research companies, IQVIA or some companies, some on Accenture, They will ask you different kinds of ways you can report. So PRISMA. So this lecture can help you in future for your a small preparation for your interview. Please remember this, whatever I'm speaking today. So it's also useful for critical appraisal of a published systemic reviews. As example, if you remember that one scientist from India, he has one established company in US. I will not say the name. Okay. So what did they do? So hope you know the Trump uh, President Trump controversy. So what happened? Those studies has told HCQ cannot be used for the corona control and all that, COVID controls and all that. So what happened? Someday one tweet pop up from the American president, and it says, "I am getting treated with the same, and I have got a improvement in my health." So now a journal, the journal where they have published, it was a very big journal, and it's got 1,000+ citations within a daytime. So you can understand, and doctors started dropping out that drug. So they started working out on it. So what happened? So they asked the data from them. They asked from their data, they asked their report, they asked their case studies, whatever they've done, from where they got the data and other things. So critical appraisal, critical approval, they wanted it, but that company was never able to provide the data. They said it comes under secrecy, so I cannot open the secret. So what happened? The paper was withdrawn within a week time. Paper was withdrawn. It was retracted by the journal, because, and this is the way it happens. So you can understand preferred reporting item for systemic reviews and meta-analysis. So 27 items PRISMA usually have, which are divided in the categories like title, abstract, introductions, methods, results, discussion, and funding. Funding matters a lot. So who you have to acknowledge them. It also advocates the use of flow diagrams to present the result in your effective manners. Usually people do follow the flow diagrams. It becomes very easy. A user like me, an end user who wants to read the paper, if methodology is given in the flow chart, we feel happy. Oh, wow, it is very easy to understand, easy to work on. Consort. Another type is called consort. Consolidated standards of reporting trials. So it's again another reporting style. So it's a statement that guides the reporting of randomized controlled trial. Now, randomized controlled trial, these all words are a little scientific word again. It is little technological word. So I want a small help from you guys. Whoever will read some words from me, whoever learning some words from me, please take down, note down, and whenever we meet next time in any lecture, when I'm meeting, we are meeting another 2 more lectures. So I may ask you this: what is randomized? What is the controlled trials? So these all small words, if you remember, it would be great. Okay, consort. Okay, so if you go to the like GlaxoSmith line, or if you go to the Novartis, those companies, whenever you go give your interview on the scientific writing, this also a question they may ask sometime: what is the consort? So develop this is this consort. The great thing is reporting in the consort system is they remove bias system. What do you mean by bias system? Bias system is, I want to use the patients, they are diabetic, and I want to see this patient is recovering with other drugs, so I will give the drug to that patient only. Bias. Or randomized. Or what will I so they want to randomize your trials. Randomize means they'll pick up random, they'll do randomly pick up. Okay, so bias will be removed, and bias means there is no diversion, there is no like playing with the data, they're not changing. Bias. I am not biased. As example, today someone tell me this is right way, other person says the right way, and one person is my relative. I said, okay, then I'll go with my relative. It's right way. I will not think about other person. Or some person is my friend, so I'll go with the friend. I am biased. So bias, removing any bias in reporting the results of randomized clinical trial. Please remember. So here it comprises 25 items. So hope you remember PRISMA comprises 27 items. Concert comprises 25 items and divided into the categories like title, abstract, introductions, methods, results, discussion, and other information to fulfill with the protocols. So you can understand here we open everything. Okay. Next type of report is called STROBE. 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 STROBE means strengthening the reporting of observational studies in epidemiology. Now what's happening now? Now epidemic happening, correct? So the report is used STROBE. Is a guideline for reporting observation studies like cohort, case control, cross-sectional studies. So whenever I meet you next, I want to ask you what is cohort, case control, cross-sectional studies. The observation studies previous to development of STROBE did not explain the confounding variables, nor have any reporting on the methods of selecting of studies and control groups. So that is missing in the before reporting groups. So STROBE, but here in the STROBE, it did not explain, please remember, how you are selecting the study and control groups. So observation studies previous to the development of STROBE did not explain the confounding variable, nor had any reporting on the method of selecting the study and control group. So please remember this one. So now this is the few types of studies we have learned. So we learned 3 types, okay? Another few more left out. I will go one by one afterward. So let's start with the introduction. A basic type of report preparations, guidelines for reporting, writing reports. So guidelines for writing reports. So the sections appear in a report in the following prescribed order. Experimental process. It's called section of the paper. So what did I do in a nutshell? It becomes abstract. What is the problem? It becomes introduction. How did I solve the problem? It becomes material and method. How did I find out? It becomes results. what what does it mean? Discussion. Who helped me out? Acknowledgement. Whose work did I refer to? Citations, extra information, appendices. So these are the sections, a minimum readable in the reports. You need them minimum in your reports. So why you need them? So in this, a few parts I have not added it till now. So I will let you know which parts. As example, cover page. As example, certifications. You should put certifications where study has been done and guide signature should be there. The first page, cover page, should have your introduction, your title with your university or what you are submitting for that report. Those all things should be there. Okay. Then sections. Then after that, you should write, summarize it. Abstract should be, what did I do in a nutshell? It should be summarized way. It should make a summary, okay, of your whole research, whatever you are doing. So now let's go for this. So introduction. This, so so what we are going to now outline it. We are going to outline the basics of writing reports. So this includes explanation of part of report called headings, introductions, discussion, conclusions, recommendations. Okay, so heading, what should have headings? So the date the report is written, recipient of the report, the subject of the report. The introduction is general overview of the report. Now you have to write what is introduction. You should write it. The majorly you should say the purpose of your report. So purpose of your report. Who are the people involved? So you can understand that. So you can understand that how you are writing that introductions. These all things should be added here. Okay. Then styles. Style of the report. The style of the each report varies, but considers conciseness, simplicity, and the highlight techniques Remember to be concise. You may choose to use graphics or illustrate a point. Okay, beware, too much data should not be. People should feel happy of reading your report. I've seen some reports are very bigger. They want to make it in bulk. They want to make the bulky in nature. It does not mean, it doesn't make any sense if someone is not reading them. The report should be a better way, a beautiful way to represent yourself. Yes, a report should have everything. As example, I'll give you example. So so what do you do in abstract? Is there should be it should not be like abstract. You can say summary. You should say summary. Okay, then what is the problem? You should write introduction. After introduction, you should write review of literature. These all things I left it because I just wanted to teach you while typing. Okay, so first part should be your certifications. Then first part should be your cover page. Then certifications. Then after that you should write it about your report. As this is a dissertation style I'm speaking. A report will not have those. Specifically, when you write cover page, and then you can directly go to your work. And then you should write introduction. Introduction part should be a little uh, different from your review of literature, how it would be. As example, I am working on diabetes, so I can give a definition of diabetes, but expanding diabetes should go in review of literature. Who worked on them? Who worked on diabetes? That should go in review of literature. There is very thin line between introduction and review of literature. There very big confusion happens when people write about it. Introduction goes page together. It should not be, as per my understanding, you should not write more than 4 to 5 pages in introduction. 5 pages also I feel is maximum. Okay, then review of literature, it should not be more than 10 to 12 pages. Maximum 10 pages you can go. Yeah, if you have a good data, you can go to some 15 pages, but again you should have a limitation of your words. As example, if when I'm writing, I am doing work or research on diabetes. So people usually what they do, they start writing about diabetes, types, manners, and so it that itself takes longer pages time. So you should avoid what people already know. So as example, if I want to write diabetes, let me highlight diabetes and types of diabetes within a page and finish it off. And then I should go on my standardization things. As example, I want to work on antioxidant. Then I should start writing about antioxidant for a page. Now, after writing these minimum things, I should start correlating antioxidant and diabetes. After I correlate it, then think I want to use some plants or extract or some drug. Now I should relate diabetes, antioxidant, and that drug or the drugs available. I should start correlating them. After correlating, now finally I should come out with my proposal, my question, why I need that study. Okay, then I start writing those all. Here I will write a big way of like some ABCD has or some authors has done that work. I have to start. I have to start writing about their studies. I should not stop doing those all. Introduction part, you should write it in little in brief. Not you should not go big ways. Okay, you should write 1 or 2 lines. As example, diabetes. Then I'm writing about statistics of diabetes. What is the statistics happening? Then I relate to the drugs available. Then I relate to the plants. What I am going to confer with my diseases. I am going to speak about. Then why I need the study objectives. I should connect the objectives here. That's the way we should follow up. Okay, so this is the way you should follow up objectives. Few people I have seen in some reports, they have after review of literature also. So there are different ways are there, but people maximum I've seen they write it after introduction, the objectives. Then they explain it in review of literature. Now, after review of literature, you start. Whenever I'm writing something, as example, diabetes is multifaceted disease. From where you got it, you should write the reference in bracket. Midday et al. 2020. So, or diabetes is a multifaceted disease. Levin et al. 1979. Okay, protein estimations. This. So you should have everything foolproofed. You cannot write anything that does not have any proofs. Please remember. Do not write sake of making it big. Any proof available, do it. Okay, so that's always better to work out on it. Okay, so I think Sahana has some questions to ask. Sahana P, do you have any questions to ask? I think she is trying to write on the screen. She wants to ask something. Could you please ask, please? You can speak, no problem.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir, from our side.
Yeah, please ask.
Yeah. Sahana P, please don't interrupt the class, please.
It's okay.
Yes, sir, you can.
No
carry
problem.
on.
I think she wanted to write some questions. She was not able to write. Anyway, done. So now, then after that, review. Okay. So we were on material methods. Now, after review of literatures, you should go with the material method. Now, when you write a research paper, we always try to give material methods in shorter formats. We won't give full ways. But in material methods, when you write in report, you should write everything possible. As example, chemicals. As example, chemicals, reagents, whatever you are, you want to write it. Whatever chemicals has been used. Then after that, even preparations also need to be written in the report. 1 molar NaOH, how did you prepare it? Make it appendix. Write it in backside. Appendix A, chemical preparation. So you should make appendix there. Okay, you should make one appendix there and add it with the chemicals. So 1 molar NaOH, how to prepare? You should write the steps. That should be written. Then one more appendix should be written in the extra information. NaOH. What is NaOH? Sodium hydroxide. Means full form, abbreviations. Abbreviation used in the report. Some people use this type of abbreviation first also, like abbreviation used in after before introduction, they do use it, but few use it after that, end of that. That depends on the person to person again. So it's better always you can continue with this. Then material methods. Now here, when you write material method, it should be written full. As example, protein estimation. Loris et al. 1972 or 1976 or whatever methods has been used to estimate proteins. Now you should write full protocol. 1 mg per ml of standard protein BSA has been used to prepare standard graph. 10, 20, 30, 40 microgram per ml or whatever is used. And then this was added, then other ABCD, whatever has been added, then it is gone for incubation. And then OD was checked on this nanometer. All the things should be written fully in the report. Usually we don't write in papers, but in report you should write everything. Now, after writing this, you go for the next. Because what happened here, we do, if you have updated the method also, then also it should be written. Report is a document in future to prove you have done this work. Think someone is working with you in your lab and they have published your data. Tomorrow, how will you prove it? You can show your report, your observation book, what you written it. You can show that and say, I was the person who did it. You can always ask them. Either they have to ready to give you authorship, or they have to withdraw it, or that depends on you how will you tackle them. So it's better to work on always on on making an observation table with you always, observation book with you always, and getting signed from your professor. So this is the way you should write material method. Then after that, results section. Now the results section should be in two parts. Like, first part should be your texture. You should write the text, and then you should give a graph. You should make a graph. So how to showcase your data? If time permits, we will do some statistics also, how to prepare a graph and all the things and tables. How to show it? You should show your data always in average values. You should know how to work out on your data and work out on the data, and look, whatever graphs you have given, think report or graph has been given, all the things should be written in your report. Figure, if some 10 figures you used in your study, so now you writing text, and there only you should give the graph or table. Sometime people, what they do it, they give the graph also, they will give the table also together. Both things they will give, because they want to bulk their report. Usually it's not a right idea. It always a good idea if you either showcase as a graph or showcase as a table. One format should be followed. One format should be followed. So then you have to work out on another one. We usually follow the pattern, whatever is given in material method. If protein estimation is given first, we will go with the first in results also protein estimations. So try 2.1 is if protein estimation. So result 3.1 is also protein estimation. So it will give me a uniformity while writing a report. So that would become easy way. Okay, then discussion. Now, whatever results you have got it. Discussion is again a continuation of results. As example, we got something in control animals, the rats, in the diabetic animals, in diabetic animals, glucose level has been increased when we have used Alexon. After Alexon induction, some drug induction, diabetic glucose level has been in diabetes animal, glucose level has been increased. Or animals were made diabetic using Alexon, some chemical, Alexon or streptozotocin. Okay. Now you have to compare. This study was in accordance with ABCD. Someone would have done that work. So you should give, the study was in accordance with this, that person at all. That's called discussion. Discussion means comparing your data with the someone else data. Now question arises, if someone has not done the same work what I have done it, they would have done in some other plant. So that plant you can use it, that things you can use it and say ABCD, a report by ABCD has provided diabetic level data in XYZ plant. Though our studies were a little different, but used similar, but used on a similar pattern. You can always say that. Your pattern remains same, isn't it? So you can always say that. Kindly remember, novelties never come in, you are doing something novel. Novelties come your creative thinking, how you think over it. People are making masks, isn't it? There are so many people are making masks, but everyone makes in their own style. As example, you would have heard about Hickel mask. What is that? It's a new type of synthetic cloth made by IIT Madras, some student. She is running her own company, and that is virus free. 90%, they say it's a coronavirus free. 90%, 90 to 95% it is free. It's a synthetic mask, they're making it. with adding cotton and all clothes. So it's called Heikel mask. So you can understand she made the mask, but when you check the cloth mask, it is just 15% stopping your pollution, your virus, bacteria. But that mask is 90% is moving. So it is just the way you think. It does not mean mask has not been made. So when you are writing a report on that, the several masks has been made with the 15% efficiencies of oil or pollution, stopping the pollutions or something, and other type of biochemical parameters. Our mask is little different, having more efficiency than them. So like that, you can make it something. So you can understand the thing. Electric vehicles are running now. It does not mean petrol vehicles are closed. So electric vehicles, someone would have made it first. So when you're writing the discussion, you should compare with your data with previously available data. You should not hide anything. People usually hide it. Everyone writes it. My first report, my first this, my first that. Please write what is first in it. As example, we reported pomegranate genome. Pomegranate genome was available by Chinese, okay, and unfortunately we submitted first in NCBI, but publication happened by the Chinese first. So we should tell the first report was done by them, but ours is now became specific because we are working on Bhagwa variety. So it became specific on the Indian traditional way, Indian way. It will become a first report, but first draft report it is. It is not a first major report now. You should write first draft report. So please remember, when you're reporting, you should not hide anything. If you hide or fear of like someone will get to know someone has done it, I will not be first, or you would have done something first in them. That show that creativity. Show write that one in your discussion. Acknowledgement part. Who helped you out? Please write everyone's name. Who have helped you on that? Because from a lab attender to an official staff, from a government official, from DBT, DST, or government agencies, or your lab, think Padam Shri or Marani Mani or some or other lab has given you instrument facility, place to stand in their lab. You should acknowledge them. You should not miss them because they have given you a place. So you should not feel bad when you are doing something. Why should I do that? Why should? Please remember, you are there because of some or the other way, other reason there. Then literature, that matters a lot. Citation of literature. This I am going to take a big seminar on it, a big lecture on it. I'm going to teach you about Mendeley, how to use Mendeley, or if we get time, maybe EndNote also. So I'm going to teach you Mendeley, how to use in your report, how to use the referencing patterns, what type of references are there, what type of referencing patterns are there. So I am going to teach you on literature cited. Then appendices. I told you ABCD appendices, like literature as example. Publication happened, that also become appendices. If anything, you have gone for seminar for using that report data, that also become one appendices. You have used some chemical preparation, that also become one appendices. So it depends on you how you use the appendices. Okay, so you have to follow up the sections of that. So discussions, I told you already. When you developing these sections, whom is involved, be specific. When did the incident, why are you composing this report, where did the incident, so exactly what was the process when you are doing. And then future recommendation, if you want to conclude. Usually in report, what we want to conclude, we give a summary, a concluding summary we will give it, and then future recommendation we will give. We write in future 2-3 lines. This can be this has not been done in this, so this can be as example, I have done in silico studies, in vitro or in vivo studies can be done from here. So this is the way our recommendations can be given. So style is mattering a lot. As example, your section heading should be 12 points, so everywhere it should be 12 points. Reports, if your text in If your report, if you have 2 lines, using everywhere, whole report should be 2 lines spacing. So please remember this all small matter. Your report section should be justified. It should be justified. This all should be mattering a lot. It should not look like you are just making a document. Whenever you're making something, it should be impressive. It should be simplicity, should be remain contact and conciseness. It should be well written. Okay, language, you have to work on that. So please remember, whenever writing, there are different types of reports are there. It's not always scientific report. You can write trip report, you can write progress report, you can write lab report, you can write recommendation report, you can write incident report, investigation report, a minute of meeting report, proposals report. This all can be a one kind of report. So everything is can be added in a report. Okay, so now you have to practice it something. So I have to give you a small assignment. You guys have to write a 2-page report, whatever we have learned it today. Okay, 2 pages is big. Okay, so I think it time taking task. So 1 page, what we have learned it today. So all of you, is a little assignment for all of you. 1-page report, everyone should write what you have learned it today. Today means you should remember 2 speakers have spoken here. So you have to write a 1-page report and submit to the organizers. Okay, then they will send me, I will correct it. Let's see the score. Okay, if I feel, then I will feel like we have written something, we have taught you something. So thank you very much. If any questions are there, I hope I am on time. So if any questions are there, I'm ready, ready to take.
Thank you, sir, for delivering a valuable talk on knowing various reports. It was very effective class. Now the session is open for open discussion. Yeah, Soumya Shankar has something to ask, sir. Soumya? Soumya Shankar has asked, can the discussion contain more than one study report which is in accordance with our study report? Sir?
Soumya, are you there? Could you ask me what you wanted to ask? Actually, I am not understanding the question. So a little, if you can brief it, it would be great.
Soumya Shankar?
Are you there?
Good evening, sir.
Very good evening.
Yeah, what I wanted to ask was, you said we are going to say there's another study who has done the same work which we are working on, such as ABC et al. Has done this, and we are doing our study according to that. So, if we are going to write that in our discussion, can it be more than one report, or just one is enough?
More you give is more better, is more trustworthy. As example, if I speaking about the glucose data, if I say 10 studies reported previously has in accordance with my study, this means I am in same line. I am in right hands. I am doing good.
Okay.
So it's always better. But being exception is also not bad. Please remember.
Okay.
Okay. If you are exceptional, you are getting something that is also not bad. Please remember. But please do not manipulate the data on the basis of the previous reports. You just try making it in the accordance. If you are not, as example, I will tell you one study when we are published in a journal called Journal of Biomedical Research. That time we got to know our whatever results we are getting, there no, it's exceptional data. Okay, so what we have written it previously, whatever reports has been given in that report, it was published. Okay, it's online. Those all shows molecular weight should be cancer drugs should be always the molecular weight. All we found is more than 500 kilodalton. So it is exceptional as per the rule says. So it got accepted. There's nothing to do wrong, think wrong about it. Our paper got accepted. But we said it's exception. So same way you can also go with it.
Thank you.
But if more data is available, we have given the previous reports also. We have told this person has given the report, this person has told this person has told this. Although we are not following our studies with them. So it does not mean that I have to 100% follow with them. Okay, it's my creative thinking. It's my thinking what I got it. I have to report that. It does not matter. It can be. As example, I will give you one very simple example. There are studies, COVID testing is now what is that called? Different types of, not COVID. Let's go with the simplest way, glucose data. Glucose data only happens with the blood, correct? Some says, but people are working now on different ways, like with saliva they are trying. Do you know that? Some people are trying the sweat to check the glucose level. They say invasive way. Okay, no pain. Okay, no need of blood. So they will become exceptional, isn't it? And if you see techno part, if you would have seen some of the watches, if you wear that watch with artificial intelligence, it will tell you your blood glucose level, or it will tell you your heartbeat, or it will tell you now you need to relax down, your heartbeat is going up. There are artificial intelligence watches are available in market now. Cholestromic level, everything it will tell. So you can understand that. Okay, so it all depends on you how creative you can think for. But if we have some accordance, it's great. Hope I gave you the answer.
Yes, sir, very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions are there?
Thank you very much, Sushil. I just want to give an announcement to the participants. Dear participants, see, you will be given with a certificate at the end, provided your attendance is taken every day, and we need to receive your feedback, and you have to give whatever the speakers or organizers give, small tests or small quiz or assignment, you need to be 100% fulfill all this criteria, then you will be getting a certificate. This is not a webinar, this is a short-term course. Like, you will get a course completion certificate, and you will be giving a best participant certificate also if anyone has fulfilled and they present their best in the seminar in this particular course, which will go for 10 days. And definitely we assure that we will not disappoint you. You have eminent speakers, and you can tell to your friends also, if anybody wants to attend to this, you are free to send it. It is a free seminar, free course which we are conducting for 10 days. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Please announce we will be giving some kind of these activities about debate, poster, and video, so that tomorrow we'll be giving the details, but you can announce once.
Yeah. We are going to conduct 3 competitions. One is a poster competition. There will be a theme which is given, and it should be a poster which is completely pictorial. If you can, whoever can express better, you will be having one cash prize and an award, a certificate. And also your poster will be there on the website for a few days, and it will be circulated in the social media also, because it is being more relevant theme which we are going to give for the poster. That is pictorial poster presentation. Other one is a 3-minute video. That is a scientific communication through video. This also, there will be a theme which will be given tomorrow. The third one is a debate. The debate is about myths and facts about COVID-19 vaccination. You may have to, is it a boon, a social media, a boon or pain in communicating this to the people? Everything will be related to science communication and related to COVID-19 also, but there will be a specific team. 3 competitions will be conducted, and there will be a prize given at the end of the program. Thank you.
The feedback is already posted, so all of you kindly fill your feedback.
Everyday feedback you need to give to get the certificate. We need everyday feedback to improve the program and to get the certificate also.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Now it's time to conclude today's session. First of all, I thank resource persons, Dr. Anuradha ma'am and Dr. Sushil Kumar sir for delivering their effective talks for today. Tomorrow you'll have 2 sessions. One session will be at 10 a.m. That session will be taken by Dr. Crystal ma'am. And session 2 is again conducted by Dr. Sushil Kumar sir. He'll be continuing with today's topic. And I thank Principal ma'am and organizing team and my dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, and my dear students who have all participated in this webinar today. Without you, it would have not been successful. So thank you
Excuse me,
for
ma'am.
your patience.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, where we will get feedback form? As from
Form,
Dr. Aziz.
can you please repeat your question?
Where we will get feedback form? How we will fill the form?
I have shared it in the link. See, in the
In the
sketch
chat
box, I
box.
have in the chat box.
The chat box, but it is.
I
not
have a
op-
question too.
Yes,
Ma'am, it is not opening.
I'll send it to you in the group also. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Group, WhatsApp group, na?
Yes, WhatsApp group also I'll be
Then
sharing.
you have made a WhatsApp group. I think you have not added me.
Okay, fine. I'll take your details, sir. Please tell your name.
Dr. Azizur Rahman, Dr. Azizur Rahman from Bangalore, National Institute of Human Medicine.
Okay, sir. Aziz Rahman from Bangalore University.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
sir.
NIUM, National Institute of Human Medicine.
Okay, sir.
Bangalore.
So you can try, sir. Now again, it has been posted. It has been posted again because some people could able to open it. You just click on the link which is being given in the chat.
Okay. I'm trying.
I think one more person was asking something. You can ask
Okay,
now.
now open.
Yeah. Somebody had another question.
Shanta Maria, you have raised your hand.
Yes.
Yeah, you can go ahead, ma'am, with your question.
See, I could not communicate this message to my students, so they have not been able to participate. I just now saw the poster. So can they join directly tomorrow after registering?
Yes, ma'am. And
Yes, ma'am.
today's probably the recording we can share with them.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
But they have to register, ma'am. So
Yeah, I will do that.
Yes.
Are there any queries?
Yeah, I think with madam's permission, we can end the session.
Yeah, go ahead, Nutana, you can close the session. As I have just a small message to all the participants. Today is a beginner's session. That is why an overall picture is being given. Every topic of this will be discussed in detail, and there will be given, speakers are going to give you tips, tools, and techniques for effective scientific communication. So be with us. Definitely you will get take the complete advantage of this scientific communication. Thank you. Nutana, over to Nutana, you can close it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. All the participants, please make sure you effectively use this time because there are so many talks that are going to come in day-to-day, next few days. So please make use of time and please submit your assignments on time. And if you have any queries, you can call us or contact us. I'll send my contact number also.
I hope there will be a WhatsApp group or any group where we can ask the queries.
Yes, ma'am. We'll create one.
Make
Sure. Yes,
by
ma'am.
tomorrow it will be ready.
Okay, thank you so
Ma'am,
much. And
can you please send your details on this thing
Yeah.
only so that
We have that registration data. With that, we can make the WhatsApp.
Yeah, correct. This is good idea. Yes.
Yeah. And here a drive link is being uploaded to upload your activities. Like now Dr. Sushil has asked to write a one-page report on today's session. You can upload on this drive. If you click on this drive, you can upload. This is the link. You can cut and paste this link on your desktop, and so that you can use it.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And we have shared one mail ID also. Like if you want to share through mail ID, there is a seminars.pims@gmail.com. To this also you can send your activities. Yes, ma'am. Thank you one and all for attending this meeting.
Okay. Thank you. Have a nice.
Yes.